Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. So, hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the comic collector geek, and I'm a loser. I'm a failure. I can't find my Vampirella. I've been making a big mess in my comic room. Look, you can see all the boxes that I've dug out, and I can't find my Mexican Vampirella. So we're giving up on Mexican. It's not Mexican Vampirella, which are actually super cool. Uh, I'm going to show you some other cool Vampirella from another country called Argentine or Argentina.
It's from Argentina, but they are also from the Argentine.
Argentine, yes. So yeah, so uh maybe when Steven's like, under the lemon tree, I might do one last attempt at
Under lemon tree? I don't
and
know if
then
I've never been under lemon tree, but I'll try it.
when you're under the lemon tree.
Oh, the lemon tree. Okay, good enough.
Yes. I was just digging out boxes. I can barely talk. So
Shall we say hi to the chat?
yeah, we should. Okay, hi chat. Are we done? No, I guess not. Okay, one sec here. I'm very tired. That was brutal. Okay, like these boxes weigh a ton. I need like a bigger room. I think I need a bigger room. That's the okay. That's what I've realized. Okay, so wow, actually the chat has been really chatty, and I didn't like. Okay, so hi Mark Miller, you were first.
Mr. Matt,
Congrats.
Mark,
Hi
Big
Matt.
Matt.
And Collecto6 is always here, stalking.
Woof.
And then we got Rama. And we got Lyle, Big Lyle.
Big Lyle.
Mark.
Got his first order from my comic shop.
Oh, congrats.
Very good.
Okay, we try to ding there for you. Then we got JSS. And, wow, everybody's chatty. Then we got Spinner Rack.
Spinner.
And then we have, wow, JX. Did I do JX?
JX.
No. Okay, and Kim Unit.
Andreas.
And who else?
The Battle of the Ferret.
And then
Darren.
Okay. Adrift. Okay. And then we got Brian. Argentina. I don't think so. I think they're in Spanish.
Of course, he's alluding to who went to the Argentine and Uruguay after the war.
For some reason, there's a lot of ads for like the superior race, but I don't know what that's about.
Aryan Products Limited.
Have how to keep your beautiful hair blonde.
Tyler.
Susie.
Hi, Sue.
Wow. I think, geez, there's a lot of people here to say hi to. And Lau. And wait, there was one after that. Mark. And then we got the Omnibus Addict.
We have Stepping Razor.
Did I miss somebody?
Yeah, Stepping Razor and AG.
And AG, okay, yeah. And then Thomas. There's no doubting that Thomas is here. Okay.
Hello, Thomas.
Okay, so that's everybody. You've been all said hello to.
Thank you all very much for coming. We very much appreciate it.
Jeffrey. Hi, Jeffrey.
Hi, Jeff.
Okay, so I'll be showing some random stuff, but I'm gonna try to find those Vampirellas from Mexico.
Wow. Well, the Argentine's pretty good. I don't know anybody's in the world has ever seen those that you have, Alan.
And there's some cool cryptos that I pulled out as well. Not cryptos. Zacharella. Zacharellas are really awesome. The artwork is amazing.
I'm your man. I haven't seen them.
Okay, so all that stuff and timelies. So
you need to go take a cold shower.
It's like, see my face? It's really red. It's because I'm like really hot from like lifting these big boxes out of the thing.
Well, they didn't. The people, the chat didn't hear all the moans and groans and grunting going on, and when you were digging through
Oh,
your
and get some water. Yeah,
River
it
McGee's
was really
closet.
hard. This we put a lot of effort into this show. And might not seem like it, but there's a lot of effort into this show that we do. If I have a heart attack and die during the show, I blame you guys. That's
Then
all.
it's
That's
no,
all
no,
I'm
no,
saying.
no. Then
What?
that's great television.
That's great
That's
television.
great television. Ladies and gentlemen, good news. No,
Yeah. So my ghost will haunt you though. Don't worry.
I know
Um,
that. I know that.
okay, so I guess we'll do timelies first because it sounds like people are
Well,
more interested in the timelies anyways. So
what we can do is I'll do a chunk and then you do a chunk like we usually do.
yeah. So
Okay. Would you want to start with now? Are you going to pull out the Zacharellas? I've never heard of Zacharella.
well, I'll pull it out. Yeah, it should be cool. You'll
You're
like
going to
it.
pull out your Zacharella?
Yeah, it's huge.
Ay, ay, ay. I went through all of my boxes, and yeah, he'll make it. God forbid
Oh,
anything happens.
yeah.
He's had enough trouble as it is with people crashing
Yeah,
into him and
definitely. Yeah.
all this other stuff. Enough is enough.
Okay.
I went through all my various boxes and then consolidated over as you show books and things. Alan has said before, when you show books and then you put them back, it's like you start getting 5 pounds of books out of a 5-pound can, and then it's 8 pounds of books trying to go back into the same 5-pound can. I've never understood how that happens. You know, it says, well, they all came out of this box and now they don't fit. What is that? So
Yeah, it's crazy.
things get move all over higgledy piggledy, and but anyway, I got everyone that I've got, and so I wanted to. Here we will start with this one. This is All Winners. This is All Winners #1, Volume 2, from August of 1948.
Oh
And
wow.
this has the Blonde Phantom, because they were shifting more towards the good girl stuff, atomic age stuff, after 1945, when the supers were somewhat in the background. And as you'll notice, the superheroes here, Namor, the Human Torch, and Cap are in the background, coming in for whatever the clutching hand is going after the Blonde Phantom. Very nice, really nicely constructed cover. This is who's the cover here? Al Bellman and Al Gabriel art. So I think it's one of them there guys. This one I just got from
Oh wow.
at an auction. The auction just of late. I managed to get. I got the Batman 43 or 47, whatever it was, the Joker's utility belt.
Oh yes.
That I just posted. I got that at this one, and then I also got. No, actually, I take that back. This is Jordan Seymour from Simplify Comics books.
Oh
These are
okay.
all this is not a my comic shop. Rescind the ding. Rescind the ding.
I
But
don't
here's
know if you can.
All Winners. This is All Winners #14. And this is from the winter of 1944. And the cover is by Alex Schomburg, and it is quintessential Alex,
Alex.
because it's quintessential Alan too. But
Okay.
so much stuff going on. The Japanese guys boiling out like bugs and everything else. The Submariner is literally tearing the armored deck off of this battleship, and everybody's shooting at him, and Thompsons, and both Cap and Bucky have Thompsons wailing away.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing.
It's just a great cover. Schomburg, he is my favorite artist,
He always
He
makes the
has
characters huge and they're ripping apart things and
now that is one of Alex Schomburg's signature touches. Not only is every single corner filled with action and good stuff going on, drawn very, very well, but also it is that he would bend proportion, and
hmm
that's one of his trademarks is bending proportion. And the heroes are bigger than life, taking on the lower than life, lesser than life, evil Axis Japanese. Now, in 1944, as you know, the Battle of the Bulge was is occurring, and so, but he tended to hi fiddle. But the idea was that that he would shift. In the latter portion of the war, Schomburg paid more attention to the Japanese than he did the Germans, because the Germans were pretty well
done by that
handled.
point.
But then the Battle of the Bulge happened, and that was their last shot. So here we have my next book for you is Captain America Comics number 15. Timely again from June of 1942, which probably would have meant that it came out in May or late April of 1942. And at that point, Pearl Harbor was still a shambles, and the fear and everything else that was running rampant through the country, particularly the West Coast, because Hitler declared war unilaterally on the United States after Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, and we declared war on the Empire of Japan.
hmm
But he unilaterally did that because he thought that we were going to declare war on him, and he said, "Well, I'm going to declare war on you right now." And then, of course, because we were insulated by both the Atlantic and the Pacific, and the technology wasn't such where we could be reached. That's how we became the arsenal of democracy, and we saved the world with our manufacturing and our blood and treasure. And that's how it happened. Everybody else was involved too, and it took everybody else too. I'm not discounting what they did or the sacrifices that they absorbed. But had the United States not been where we were, then there is no way that we could have prosecuted it enough to win. And this is coming from an American, so you can consider the source. But here is Captain America, number 15. It's in a beautiful 8.0. And Captain America really was a horror title. And the reason and why they did that was because they started him as a horror, and at the end of his run, he was more of a horror title too, which you get. But the whole point was, I believe
Did
it.
you see that?
I did indeed. The only state of the Union that was a state that was fired on during the war was Oregon, and it was down at Fort Stevens, right between Astoria and Seaside. And my dad was down at the coast. He thought it was fireworks, but it was a U-boat. It was basically one of the Japanese submarines shelling the fortifications at Fort Stevens. So, but any event, but you'll notice that on a lot of these covers, all of these the Nazis are monsters or drawn
Yeah.
as monsters, and inside they're with Simon and Kirby and others, all of them, Avison and all the guys. They would make them just absolutely Sid Shores. They would make them just brutally, I mean, terrible stereotypes. And here we got this guy with filed teeth, and he always had branding irons and what have you. Is this Avison on this one? Yeah, this is an Al Avison cover, and
Okay.
Avison was there until he was drafted, and then Sid Shores took over, and then he was drafted. So it's just the way that the whole thing went. But anyway, there's that one.
Schomburg drafted as well?
No, Schomburg was never drafted.
He was too old?
He was too old, I think.
Yeah.
Either that or he had a medical thing that went on that precluded him.
Yeah.
Here is another Captain America. This one is from December of 1942. This is Captain America Comics number 21. Now, by this time, Avison had been drafted. So Sid Shores took over, and this is a Sid Shores cover. Bucky is being rendered into something, probably turning him into Bucky Jelly. He's being lowered down with this harness into the fire. You got a guy with a Nazi top hat,
Yeah, I think this is his first appearance. That guy with the Nazi top hat.
Dr. Ocularis or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's 9 pages of Human Torch involved as well. But Sid Shores had the Cap's face is a little bit longer. You'll notice just a hair longer. And he rounded Bucky up a little bit. But the thing about this particular story, this book, and when I posted it, he was just like Tonto. The thing about it was Captain America takes on the devil. And this is a huge story where basically the devil has orchestrated and helped orchestrate all the problems in the war, and mankind is at its weakest point. He said, now is my chance to come back to Earth and make it my own. And he says, but the rules are that I must defeat the greatest hero that mankind can offer. And it was Captain America who was then transported to this battle with the devil, and then he took on the devil and he defeated him. And the artwork in that story is just wild. Hi, James. It's just wild what it is. And I also, again, posted the story with this book.
I saw that. That was awesome.
Yeah, and so if you want to read the inside story, go ahead. It's just really cool. Hi, Who Dad? How are you?
Yeah.
So the Saints had a win, didn't they? I thought they had a win. I'll go through the Captain Americas, and then I will break for you, Alan.
Sure.
Here is Captain America Comics number 28 from July of 1943. This features an Alex Schomburg cover, and Sid Shores and Vincent Alacia do the art on the inside. But this is a great Bucky torture one. 5,000 pounds is about to turn him into Bucky Jelly.
Yeah, I don't know why they need the 5,000 pounds. They already got
just to make sure that, and it's written in English so that you don't have to wonder about, and you see, even back then they don't.
Yeah. So
for his birthday, 2 in a row. That was great for your dad's birthday. That's wonderful.
Happy birthday.
That's happy birthday, Dad. Well done. That's great. And a win to boot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bucky always gets captured because they try to get Cap, and then they know that if they get Bucky, it's sort of like Robin, they go after them and stuff. Somewhat of a trope. But the interesting thing about this, the guy behind the desk should have had the colorist screwed up, which Schomburg complained about with great regularity. Mm-hmm. The pink Nazi flag, green Nazi flag with pink inside. It should be red with white. In other words, what were the colorists thinking? Green with a black. I don't know if they had that, but that's the Red Skull behind the desk. It's supposed to be the Red Skull.
But he has a purple skull.
But they made him the Purple Skull.
The first appearance of the Purple Skull.
Now, up here in the corner, you see there's a machine gun going on his back. He's got a guy throwing a spear with a red tip coming down. He's got another one up in his hand. And Schomburg weaves Cap through all of these chains and all this other stuff to try to get through. I mean, to basically, and then of course the chain comes up in out of the top. He breaks barriers there for more dimension. But isn't that a great cover? And a very nice grade too. These books are very hard to find in grade, and they're relatively dear to get them.
Hi, Mike Pope.
All right.
The Red Skull was feeling a bit blue.
Here is issue number 30, and this is from September of 1943. This features a Sid Shores cover and art, and you got a monster kind of guy, this sort of the Arabian Nights. He's got a giant serpent about ready to glom onto Bucky.
So
Cap's
this must
coming
be
in.
after the war, right? Like 46,
No,
maybe?
no, no. This is 1943.
Really?
It is a non-war related
Oh, okay.
wartime cover.
Okay. Because like I thought they did all war at that point.
No, no, no. There was variation. September of 43. Get a little more
He's
light
doing
on.
a power punch there.
Well, it's he's already crashed one guy with his shield. Who's they're all throwing knives and everything, daggers and everything at him. Looks like a machine gun in the corner. Nope, just another guy throwing stuff. And you got this mook guy with a knife. He's about to put the screws to Bucky. He's got one gold eye and one white eye.
Mm. I'm surprised that Wortham didn't have any issues with Captain America and Bucky.
Well, he had ample reason to. This is my last cap right here. So this will be my break point.
No, was Bucky any use in the Golden Age? He was not of any
He
use.
did actually Bucky did a lot of good stuff, and he saved Cap a bunch of times.
Okay.
But I think the bulge was definitely that Cap was saving Bucky. But it was the hook to get younger kids to say that some young kid is participating and helping during this whole time. And this next book is from this is Captain America Comics number 46, and this is from April of 1945. This is arguably, and I think absolutely, the most poignant and important book historically for all of World War II, because Schomburg had the guts to show it, and the editors at Timely allowed it to be shown. And it is a Holocaust cover.
Oh yes, that's
This
like
is
that's the biggest Captain America book,
this
except for
is
#1.
this is the biggest book because he showed what everyone had heard but wasn't sure about, and that the New York Times denied, and it just was it was so awful. And here are the Jews being lined up and fed into the ovens. And Captain America is absolutely screaming at the top of his lungs coming in to deal with this. You were going to say, Alan, I'm sorry.
And this is before they really knew for sure that that was happening in Germany, right?
I think, but no, the Jewish people who had escaped, many of them went into the entertainment business. The Jewish, very, very successful people, incredibly intelligent and bright, genius type people, that they knew that they were going to be rounded up and killed. And they left, and they came telling this. Their relations here in the United States were being told. And of course, Martin Goodman, and there are Jewish people running Timely, but they were the first to actually have it depicted by their best artist in as heinous as they could get to show it. And all the people that are in the background have the tags around their necks slated for execution, for extermination. It's just, this book is an incredibly important
Hey,
book.
Buck.
Hi, Epoch. Long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So anyway, but this book is one of the ones that this is the big Captain America other than #1. And I think them slugging Hitler before the war had even started indicated that where we were going to land on this, because of his invasion of Poland and all throughout Europe, and France and everything else. And of course, the Battle of Britain had already happened in 1940 with the RAF defeating the Luftwaffe, which stopped the invasion of England, which meant that we could then stage the second front that both Churchill and Stalin wanted when Stalin finally came over to our side. So
yeah, it's such a major book.
So anyway, this copy of this book was owned by Jamie Graham of Graham Crackers Comics. He got another copy in the whole collection of caps, and then I was very fortunate. It's only a 3, but only a 3.
Only a
presents
3. I think
it
the highest grade is maybe a 6 or something like that.
it presents far better than its grade.
Yeah, it
So
does.
anyway, but that's that one. When you talk about a book to have, that it's a Grail book. This one
Mhm.
really, this one
Oh yeah,
really, really
definitely.
is a Grail. Okay, that's all my Captain Americas.
Very nice. Awesome stuff. I think I have like one or two I think I might. I'm not even sure if I have any Captain Americas in my collection, by the way. But I'm gonna switch things up. We're going from Timely to Zacharella. And this is Zacharella number 1. Now, basically, Zacharella is Vampirella. Uh, and you can see it's quite gruesome the way that they did it. And the interior is just reprints from Warren Publishing. But they have some kind of like really gruesome stuff going on, like this woman getting poked in the eye.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so it's I just wanted to show that. But it's just like really kind of sexy, kind of fun stuff. And then they would have their own little cartoons that were like unique to these ones on the back, like these little Dracula show. So, but really
Dracula,
great artwork.
not Dracula, Dracula.
Dracula.
Right.
Yeah, I said Dracula. I think you misheard me, or I misspoke. But yeah.
No, that's okay.
Okay. So then we got number 2.
All right. The reptile boys know what they
Yeah.
want.
Yeah. They look happy.
That's wild.
Yeah. So these would be from the early 70s. So yeah, but really fun stuff. And obviously it's not it's I don't know why they didn't just call it Vampirella, but maybe they didn't have the full license. I don't know, because they are reprints inside. You can see like they're reprints from Creepy and Eerie and Vampirella stories. So I know this is a great transition. Very different from the stuff that Stephen was showing.
AG,
Uh,
I saw that your grandfather was in the 9th Infantry, and they were there to liberate 2 of the camps. One of the gals that I went to high school with, her father was a photographer for the Army. And when he went he was one of the ones that went in when they went into Auschwitz and found them, all
oh
those poor
wow,
people. And he
wow,
was taking pictures, the official pictures for the Army. But
wow.
what he did was he made a completely separate set of photographs in case someone tries to cover it up
Oh yeah.
and to deny that it ever happened. And then years later, when the people started to try to deny the Holocaust, he sent all of those pictures to the Jewish Museum so they would have
Hmm.
that all the another photographic record in hand so they could show, and that's part of the official record now. So
Oh wow,
uh, Claude McGraw was his name.
wow. So sorry, this is very different stuff. So we got some mice or rats attacking.
She's got to drink a little more blood. She looks rather jaundiced.
She's very jaundiced. She goes through a whole bunch of different colors actually.
But
And
it's
this one
interesting.
she's
She doesn't have the traditional red kind of one-piece swimsuit with the
no, no.
vampire down by her trademark.
Yeah, she's a different character, really. So do I have the full set of Mexican Vampirella? No, I'm missing like 2 or 3 issues. I'm very close to having the complete set. But these are I have the complete set
JSS
of.
was asking who's drawing these covers.
It's a artist named Calberto.
Calberto?
Cabelto? I don't know.
Calberto.
Calberto.
Is it L or R?
Maybe it's.
I don't know.
I think it's Calberto. Or I don't know. I was trying to read it. I don't know.
Fair enough. Calberto, we'll call it.
Yeah.
My goodness, she is a probably good swimmer.
Yes. Yes. She floats well. Um. So, and then we got
Sorry,
some.
Mother Slug. It's good girl. That's all right. We're sorry, but that's sort of the
Too
way
much
we go
nudity.
here.
This is like good girl. This is like, it is what it is. it's
It's naughty, is what it is. And what
it's
year are
simply not.
these?
These are like from early 70s, like 1972. Maybe it's Shibiro. I don't know. I don't know, Ozzy. If you can read it, you can tell me. That one's actually better.
It looks Calberto to me. I agree with you, Alan.
It looks like a T because the
Or
way it's crossed at the
Calbrero.
top.
Calbrero, if it's, but the R is does that. I think it's Calberto.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
No,
know.
these are Argentinian.
Are these Argentinian? No, I think these are actually. I think these might be from. Maybe they're Argentinian, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure, to tell you the truth.
It was one was Adrift was saying, are these Brazilian?
These are either like para adultos. Would that be Brazilian? Would that be
Carlos Alberto Santos is the artist, says Matt.
no? Oh wait, what? Carlos.
Carlos Alberto Santos is the artist.
Oh, but that's not at all what it looks
Well,
like.
he puts both names, but he puts both names, Alan.
He's putting both names together.
There it is.
Yeah, they're in fairly good condition. I mean, this one has a little chip out of the corner, but out of the side, but they're in fairly good condition. I actually had 2 sets at one time. I think I might still
Could be
have this.
Portuguese. It could be Portuguese.
It might be Portuguese. I'm not sure. If it's Portuguese, then they're from Brazil. I don't actually know where they're from. I was trying to check inside, but it doesn't say. These ones are like these weird fish guys. The Mexican Vampirella are even more like, if you guys are. Oh wait, actually this one I have to censor. I was like, oh, these are pretty tame. The Mexican Vampirella are even more risque. Okay, I'll go buy that one quickly.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah,
her uniform is metal pasties
metal pasties.
And does she have what is this? What's this? Is that a spider guy on her, or does she have spiders on her?
It's like little weird. I'm not sure if they're spiders or some kind of weird.
Well, those are spiders for sure. Hello, Cantonese comic.
Yeah. They are spiders. You're right. They just look different when I show it on the screen. But it's like some weird death dude.
Death dude?
Death dude. And it looks like he's kind of merging with her.
Well, I love the earring on his ear. That's very nice. And is the Z for the Zacharella. She wants to have that identifying trademark.
Maybe that's her skull. I don't know. Nipple shields, yes. They're very, very high armor class. Then,
oh, there's a good one.
Yeah, we got this.
That would straighten you up watching that come out.
Yeah, creepy guy coming out. So we're up to number 10. Okay, I'm just going to go through them fairly quickly.
Nice. That's a real classic. Totally classic.
Yeah, this is a classic trope. You got the werewolf and the damsel in distress are lying there.
Boy, I would say so. Misterio, terror, fantastio.
Fantastio. Yeah, crime. So these would be
Fantasia, crime.
I have read these in the English version. So these, as I said, they're reprints from Creepy and Eerie. So I would have read the original.
She's rather a Rubenesque looking version of Zacharella there.
Yeah, I prefer the earlier versions. I think they were trying to figure out what to do with her costume. So this one is much more like almost like Red
Sonja. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
JX says, sucks. Now I have to find these.
Yeah, they're not easy to find, actually.
My God, she's going to cut his head off.
Yeah, she's decapitating the guy. Like,
my goodness, you're awfully violent. You're so bloodthirsty, Alan. What's going on here?
Yeah, it's Portugal. I thought they were Portuguese for some reason. Okay. And this one's really interesting. It's like the guy.
She's got him stuck where it. Look, she stuck him right in the. Holy crow!
That's what I said. I said it's interesting.
I don't think it's a poilu. No.
Yeah. Okay, and then she seems to
Good
really like
Lord,
these
Alan.
rats.
Holy cow.
She really likes the rats. So
She likes to be chewed on by rats?
I
Well,
don't know. It's like
look at her size. Her foot is a size 2.
I know she has really tiny
What
feet.
happened to her feet?
She's like, you know that Chinese bondage thing, the foot bondage,
Yeah, where they bind their feet.
binding, I should say, Chinese foot binding. Yeah, bondage, a little bit different. Um,
Mark says, "Good night," and of course, that was I always say that was my
yes,
mother
good
would say
night.
it
Yeah,
as an exclamation. Good night, shirt. And I said, What's good about
why
it?
the
That's just
shirt?
what we say.
I still don't get the shirt part. And we're up to number 18 now.
She's got a
I know,
fire hand, and look at all those body parts coming up to grab her,
I know, like the
and the
hands coming up.
mysterious eye.
I know it's a really cool cover. I know. I really like the artwork. I mean, the interiors are just, as I said, reprints from Creepy and Eerie and
Yeah,
stuff.
but the cover sells. These covers are wild.
I mean, they're really awesome covers.
Was that a robot monster behind her there?
I don't know what that is. It's like
It
it
looks
looks
sort of
almost like
armored.
the like
Creature.
creature from the Black Lagoon.
That's his uglier, heavier cousin.
Yeah, he's a Portuguese version. I don't know. And this one is like reminds me of that Norm Saunders cover with the
Very
eyeballs.
much. Yeah. Bones and eyeballs, just like you do.
Yeah,
That is so creepy.
yeah. And this one is
Grimace
interesting
from
too.
McDonald's.
And then this is like almost like they try to make it like sci-fi a bit.
It is. That looks like a ray gun, not a 6 gun.
Yeah. So this,
And sort of the Easter Island futuristic boys.
yeah, and then this one is like really sci-fi.
Oh
The
yeah,
bubble
they got the
helmet and
armored ants from space. Very
yeah, it's
cool.
nice. Look at that. They almost like look like flies mixed with like frogs
Yes.
and like some weird tentacly thing attacking her
Yes,
too.
these are from the early 70s or early and mid.
Oh yeah, early mid 70s, yeah. And then this one I gotta censor a little bit. Not sure if I did a good job censoring, but we'll pretend.
Oh God, they got her by the legs again with the ray
Yeah.
blaster. She's still in space.
Yeah, so they kind of went through that phase. And this one I gotta censor as well. Jeez. Okay, there.
Well, that's not so good.
It's like lava is pouring over her. And she's got some booty.
She's got a happening tail there.
Yeah, it's like huge.
JSS says 76 to 78.
Yeah. Okay. So I was thinking it was around the 70 mid. I thought it was earlier 70s, but we want uncensored. Uh, and then I don't know if
This
these
from the
two
guy
have.
that doesn't like the ferret, the classic ferret. Oh
I
my
know.
gosh.
It's like a huge. And this one's interesting. Got this purple baboon.
Good Lord. It's not a baboon because it's got a tail.
I don't know what it is.
Well, it's a monster. It's a simian monster of some sort.
Yeah, it's got a kind of a
Purple too.
purple. Yeah.
I like her leather boots.
Oh my goodness, that's sacrilege, Kim Yunin.
Andreas, you must come
You
to the
must join
party.
us.
Join the party for ferret.
Okay, so now they're maybe trying to rip off Jaws. I don't know.
Well, that is Jaws. Look at all the armor on the top of the thing. Well, look how much more she's wearing now, too.
Yeah,
All the
she's wearing a lot
leather,
more.
and
So yeah, he's got a bit of an overbite. So yeah, and we got number. We're almost done. We're at number 27.
my God,
This is kind of like a very religious,
they have Christ, right? It's Christ and the
Jesus
devil.
and the devil.
She's
Yeah.
she's being between the devil and heaven.
But which way is her head looking?
She's sort of she's looks rather coquettish for something as huge as this.
Yeah. So yeah, she's just sort of, she looks kind of flirtatious there, strangely. Okay, and then the last issue, number
I don't know how
21.
much. I don't know how cool. Of course, back and this is Portuguese. You say?
Yeah, I guess so.
I would say in Portuguese that I really feel that the well, that's sort of the Wonder Woman. Having Christ on there, I'm not quite sure I go with that. This one here, I mean, for
Well, they are very religious, right?
culturally they would, yeah. That looks like the Wonder Woman when she lost her costume, the white costume.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It looks like the mod Wonder
Yeah,
Woman,
the
yeah.
in the
But she
'70s,
still has the nipple things on top of
but
it.
she still has the armored nipples.
So I don't know. But that's the Zacharella collection. That's the complete Zacharella collection.
Bizarre.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. I'm a completionist, so like I was trying to get everything Warren ever produced, or everything even from different nations.
I showed a Blonde Phantom. This is Blonde Phantom number 21.
Yeah, I love Blonde Phantom. That's another run I'm trying to
Bland
get to.
Phantom.
Blonde Phantom.
Bland Phantom.
Blonde Phantom.
And now we shift to Daring Comics. This was Daring Mystery Comics, but then this is the first issue of just plain Daring. They dropped the comics. And I don't know why they would drop the comics, but they did. This is another Alex Schomburg cover. This is from the fall of 1944. This has white pages. I got this one from Lee Polanski. And what we have here is we have, I think, if not the only one, where nationalist Chinese officers who are our allies in the war being lowered into a pit, into a lagoon, a pool of
Oh
pink
yeah.
rabid sharks.
I
And one of the things that Schomburg does is he always has the rank and file soldiers, and of course the sharks are eating the Japanese soldiers here. See, they're basically they're getting. Here's one guy that's going to about at the bottom about to get his head cut off.
Yeah, it looks like it's like biting his head.
Yeah, it's biting his head off. But they always have. Then on either side, he would always frame it with these giant sumo guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'd have all the other Japanese soldiers in closer to scale. And of course, with Daring, you don't have Captain America. You have the Torch and Submariner and Namor. So anyway, and it's a green cover, which is very unusual for Timely and Marvel in general, because they really went with the red, always went with red. So the green ones are, I think, very striking.
I have the sort of sister of that book. The one that's kind of similar idea. It's almost like they're like a different version of the same idea.
Which
It's like
title? Which title?
is it Young Allies?
Okay, I think you're
It's the
right.
same
Yes,
idea. It's like they're being lowered into a thing of sharks.
Daring was very short. Daring had a very short run.
Yeah,
And
but he made
Fiddle,
his first appearance in Daring. Schomburg did. I think
I don't
Daring
know.
one. I think Daring one is the
Daring
very
one,
first
and I believe that
Schomburg.
Daring one was the only image of that cover has all those oddball characters that they were trying out. One of them was the Challenger, which is also on. You hardly ever see the Challenger because he's got the star on his mask or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And for some reason, Schomburg liked him because he put him on that last painting that I have of his that he created. All right, we now shift from Daring to Human Torch. This is Human Torch number 13. And this is from the collection of artist Frank Bruner, who did a lot of work with Howard and with Doctor Strange and a lot of good stuff. But this was from his collection, and he basically had it set up through CBCS to have all these done. This is Human Torch number 13 from the fall of 1943. And it's cream off white pages. But this is the bookend to the red cover, which was 12, that had the redhead being, and the guy has his arm being burned off. This one, Toro, has set this guy's here, the guy that's going to cut the rope to drop her into the snake pit, the blondie, setting the back of his head on fire. And all of them are crawling. All these Japanese guys are crawling like bugs all over everywhere. Remember, we're at war, and these people hit us pretty damn bad at Pearl. And what they were doing to China and all the things, the barbarism that they visited because of the Bushido code on people, that they had no honor, they had no face, they had nothing if they were captured, and they didn't die trying. And so they had the survival rate for in Japanese prison camps was woefully low, and they treated them awfully, because not only culturally but just plain bad. But the blonde, instead of it being a redhead in a tight silk satiny dress, we got a beautiful blondie. Same way, the Schomburg gal. And again, he's got a big pit full of snakes waiting to basically kill her.
I like when it's a damsel in distress rather than a guy. Like rather than Bucky or Toro or.
This was,
Really cool.
and then they have, and of course, Human Torch also features Submariner as well. 20 pages of Submariner.
Wow.
That's a long story. All right. Next up, we have another Human Torch. And this one, I looked at this book a bunch of times. This is post-war. This is Atomic Age. This is from May of 1948, and this is Human Torch number 30. This is a Sid Shores cover. Sid Shores was wounded in the war, and I don't know if it was going in the Battle of the Bulge. He was wounded, but then he was in the same unit as Kirby. He was in the same outfit as Jack Kirby, and he ended up being evacuated out, and he went to England, and that's where he convalesced until he came back home, and then he went back to work for Timely. And here is Sid Shores again working for a Timely. Bill Everett does art on the inside. Namora also is in it, and it is a bondage cover. Bucky is in bondage. This is Human Torch number 30, and you can see that.
Oh, yeah.
I just love this book, the layout. The Torch, the way that Shores drew him, has a slight face, you see, and his head's on fire, sort of like the Thunderbolt for Johnny Thunder. But you have Bucky is chained to the wall, not Bucky, Toro is chained to the wall.
Yeah, I know that he is a android at this point, but yeah, I don't know, which do you like better, the Human Torch Silver Age or Golden Age?
Well, I like them both. They're entirely different characters.
Yeah,
Their whole and historically, the android coming through from Marvel Comics #1, that you have an android. I mean, in 1939, having an android as the star of the show, he looked different at the very beginning too, much more face. But the android ends up shacking up with Sun Girl later on, so they sort of went away from the android thing so much as they just called him a reporter or a detective or whatever it was. Alex, no, I can't remember his name. Hammond, I think, was his name. Hi, Cliff. How are you? Let's see here.
Cliff. Hey, Cliff.
Here we start now with Marvel Mystery Comics. This is Marvel Mystery Comics number 51. This also was one of the comics owned by Frank Bruner. Off-White, Marvel Mystery Comics number 51. And this is from January of 1944. And we're dealing with the Nazis right here. And that's Schomburg, I'm sure. isn't it? It has to be. It's a Schomburg cover. Is it signed? Yes, Schomburg, signed Schomburg cover. But this was one of the tropes
Oh yeah,
that Schomburg brought over and over again. You've got the hooded KKK guys.
and they're gonna
You've
brand
got
them.
you've got Toro in really bad shape. Um, you've got you have these guys. Schomburg did this all the time. That he would have this brazier down at the bottom or somewhere on the cover, and they'd be cranking it up. You notice he's got the blower there to blow the coals, the charcoal up, to get these branding irons. The Nazis always had red hot swastika branding irons, and the Japanese had the same thing going with chrysanthemums. And so he would always be branding these people. So Bucky is going to get not one, he's going to be branded all over his body. And when I wrote my piece on this, because of the time frame, this was sort of an analogy or a metaphor that Bucky represents Europe, basically, that they are
Oh wow.
uh, prostrate to the Nazis that have invaded them and have them just horrible. They're complete subjugated people, and with people Nazis just as bad as the Ku Klux Klan, and he makes and with swastikas all over them. And then they have the crowd of the regular soldiers, even with more of them, all coming in, and they're basically it's just a really great. And this goes to show you how Schomburg would draw with the musculature and what have you, no face, but the flames and everything else, and again the proportions that are involved here is all Schomburg. Marvel Mystery Comics.
Very nice.
The next one is another Marvel Mystery comic, and this one is from September of 1945, dated, but the book itself would have come out sometime in August, and the war ended in Tokyo Bay September 2nd, 1945, aboard the battleship USS Missouri, Big Mo, and that's where the instrument of surrender was signed with Douglas MacArthur. Wainwright, who had been captured on Corregidor, was still alive. He was right there with him. And none of the high-ranking officers or whatever, if they're the high-ranking, hello, comic fan again, that the people that were there were in top hats and tails, and they were the representatives of the Japanese people. The actual the agreement was signed, and then what happened was Japan was a complete shambles from all the B-29 bombings and everything else, and of course the 2 atomic bombs. But the fact was that the people, in order to keep order, MacArthur won the Marshall Plan to basically help Japan get back on its feet, basically left the Japanese army armed and in control, but they accepted the fact that they had been defeated, but they were basically, the Japanese army kept order in Japan. And then the reconstruction of Japan happened. And what the outcome of that was, all of their machinery was blown up and burned and destroyed. So they are restoring themselves with brand new machinery, coming, a lot of it from us and all over. So our industry basically had antiquated machinery, and the Japanese ended up with brand new machinery when they brought their economy back. It's very interesting. So anyway, but back to this. This one would have been right at the end of the war. It is the last war cover for Marvel Mystery, and it is another Alex Schomburg cover, 5/5, and it's issue number 66. And this is the one where they have the dirigible over New York City with the death ray clearly delineated there, with again everything going on all around the
Yeah,
structure of the
so much to
dirigible. The both of them they're blasting through and flying through stuff. They got
yeah, so
the
much to take
Japanese.
in just looking at that cover.
I'm sorry.
So much to take in. Like there's like so many
Yeah, there's
details.
just this giant port underneath it, and they got the death ray going, and they basically go right through the machine. The guy's working all the controls that Schomburg would put in and all the machinery, which Kirby followed as well. Kirby did that sort of stuff, but Schomburg was the one who really, I think, defined this, because he, when in his earlier career, he was doing like typewriter manuals. He would draw pictures of typewriters in perfect scale, where they showed the workings and the gears and all this other stuff. He loved doing that stuff. He was good at it, very
Mm-hmm.
technically minded. His brother August did a lot of aircraft, and they are very technically accurate. Schomburg's aircraft were accurate, but they were just a hair cartoony, his touch on them. His brother August, his were far more clinical looking with the ones that he did. But anyway, but this is the last, and of course the guy screaming and everything else and all the mayhem. But this is the last war cover for Marvel Mystery Comics for World War II.
That is actually a good question, Adrift. You know, if you look at these early timelies with Schomburg, they are very, very detailed. But then his later work, like for Nador and Nedor, other publishers,
I have an
he's
answer for that.
oh, okay,
I
okay,
actually have an answer.
okay.
If you look at his work in Harvey, and if you
Mm-hmm.
look at his work for MLJ, and if you look at his work for Standard Nedor, each one of them, for example, All New Comics, he
Mm-hmm.
has them even more crowded than the Timelies, and the
Oh,
Timelies
really?
are crowded. Yeah, they're every bit as crowded. But for the Black Terror and a lot of these others, the focus by Ned Pines, who ran Standard Nedor, the focus editorially was to feature the character more. So, in
Oh,
other
okay.
words, instead of having all this other stuff going on around, the focus was more on the main character, and
Mm-hmm.
that was Schomburg did what they wanted him to do.
Okay.
So, for example, when you have like Exciting 39, where you have the candy bar cover, you just have they're making a statement just in a standard one picture says it all. There's a little bit of
Yeah.
other stuff, maybe a guy, one or two guys off in the bush, some were coming in with knives in their mouths or something,
Mm-hmm.
but they were far more character centric on the Standard Nedor. Now, whether you like that one better or if you like the other one, the airbrush covers, for example, Startling 49 and all of these sorts of things, the center picture is what sells. They basically are having, rather than having this huge potpourri of activity going on, they basically have something that stands out as an image, and that's how Standard Nedor did their things. Tara, and I mean all of these things, you know, the way that they actually would present them, and
Mm-hmm.
Timely's also later on would also be more character centric rather than all this other stuff. During the war, the Timely's and the Harveys all are like all new, and the that title comes to mind. It's just got their wild, frenetic, everything going on the covers.
Mm-hmm.
But Standard Nedor decided that they wanted to feature more, be more character centric, and that's what it is. All of
I
it's
actually prefer the busier stuff personally. I found it more
well, it's
interesting.
all good to me because I'm a
Mm-hmm.
big Black Terror fan, as you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But the frenetic stuff is so fantastic. It is my favorite too.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Happy to answer it.
Very good question. Answer.
All right, here we have. Now this is post-war. This is from June of 1946, the so-called Atomic Age. This is a Vince Alacia cover. Now, I mentioned Vince Alacia doing interior art during the latter portion of the war. He was another one of the guys that came up when the other guys were either unavailable or still drafted and everything. Me too. I'm a big Black Terror fan. This one is from June of 1946, and it features the Human Torch, and this is a story about werewolves on the loose, where they have the Torch and Toro have to go and get these and this is an 8.0.
Yeah, it's really high grade. Usually those Marvel comics or Marvel mystery comics are just beat always. They're just totally destroyed whenever I see them. So that's a really high grade.
And again, here they are character centric with the threat around them. The newspaper is alarmed, and you've got green werewolves with yellow eyes all over the cover for them to have to fight. But Alacia does a beautiful job on Torch and Toro. Here's another thing that you will notice. Do you notice that Toro does not have as many lines on his body
Then yeah,
inking?
he's much simpler.
And you also notice that he is a lighter color, which indicates he doesn't burn quite as hot.
Oh, okay.
So that's how they distinguished with between Torch and Toro. Isn't that a great cover?
Very nice. Yeah. I mean, it almost looks like they're spelling something or something like it. Like there's
No,
some
it's
weird.
always they want to communicate the fact that a flight where they're
They're
looping
zipping
and doing all
around.
this.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
they're putting action into the cover. That there's
hmm
some sort of movement to draw the
hmm
eye.
Looks like a pretzel. That's why. Okay.
No charge for that. I'll
Yeah.
show one more, and then you can show some stuff.
Okay.
I will show this will be my last Marvel Mystery comic.
Okay.
This is Marvel Mystery, again, an Atomic Age from October of 1948. This features the artwork on the cover is, I think it might be Mike Sikowski, but it also could
Isn't
be
Mike
Ken.
Sikowski the one from Monsters University?
I think
Monsters
so.
Inc.
But Mike Sikowski did Adam Strange,
Okay.
and he also did this Justice League. A lot of the Justice League stuff.
hmm
People didn't want to draw the Justice League because there were too many costumes to have to draw. That's why John Forte. Hi, David Clark.
He's
Um,
87 and 94. Wow.
wow. That's one right before this one. But here it is. This is number
Yeah. Mike
88
Clark.
from Kozowski. No,
Yeah.
Sukowski.
No. I'm talking about Monsters Inc.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
The
fair
name
enough.
is similar. That's all. It's just similar.
Captain America, Blonde Phantom, Namora, Golden Girl, and Sun Girl appear in this one. So post-war, they're bringing in all these females to be in the stories to leaven, if you will, all the male stuff going on post-war. And here it is.
Yeah, this one's a good one. I've been trying to find a copy of that, actually. I really like it.
This one I got from our friend Ryan at Automatic Comics. He's a great guy. You might check out his stuff for sale. He's a good man. But here is, we certainly deserve this period of relaxation after everything that happens to us inside this magazine. And this looks very suspiciously like a Sid Shores cover to me because look at how the torch looks.
Yeah.
That's kind of how Sid Shores drew it. And I don't know if Ken Bald came in to help on the girls, but it sure does look to me as this is a bullpen effort for this book.
It doesn't say on the slab?
Well, it just tells you all the different names. Mike Sikowski, Sid Shores, Ken Bald, and Al Gabriel. So all of these guys, I think
the Sun Girl kind of looks very Ken Baldish.
It does. That's what I'm saying. I think that this was a bullpen effort to put this together. Hey, Sid, you draw the torch really well. Can you handle the girls? And Stan Lee would have asked for that because he had Ken Bald, who was a hero in the war, who was enlisted as a Marine and ended up coming out. He was with Army intelligence as well as being a captain when he mustered out. He was there for the entire duration, was on Peleliu and Tarawa and Iwo Jima. The guy was an amazing, stud, very long-lived guy, too.
Yeah, oldest.
Guinness Book of World Records to have a cover done by him.
Yep.
But this is one you really just do not see very often at all. And it's one of the few Sun Girl appearances having all of these characters together. I think this is the only cover that has all of these characters on it
together. Yeah.
This is the only one.
It's really great.
So that's all there is for those. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 11 more slabs and about 4 more raws, and that'll be the extent of my timely superhero books.
Wow.
I do have timely good girl like Alan does, and sometime in the future we could probably do that. because
We could do a
Good Girl
show.
was, for Timely, was huge. It was everything, really. They drooled on with the others, but it was like 12 or what is it, 15 titles of
Oh
girls.
yeah, it's like
I mean,
no,
it
I
was
think it's
just,
more than
that's
that. I
where
think it's
they
actually
hung
like
their hat.
16 titles or something crazy. Yeah. We keep them in
Adrift,
plastic just
they're not,
because
it's not plastic. This is Mylar.
Mylar.
This
But
is, this
you
is
put them in that to protect the slab so it doesn't get all
because
scuffed up.
if you're moving the slabs in and out of a box, what will happen? The plastic will get scratched on it, and you'll
Yeah.
notice this if you see slab books that have not been the very first thing I ever do. They almost and generally all come in either CGC bags, transport bags, or they come in bags like when they come from that they give you. But I invest in Mylar to protect them. So
See,
Mylar,
I
I do that
started.
for my raw books and everything else. Mylar and acid-free boards. These have the boards that absorb the acid on the inside, very specifically built to
And
protect and preserve the books
they
inside.
also protect from UV as well.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so extra level.
But you see, and that's if you one last thing, Alan, and that's the
Okay.
reason why I do. I'm sorry, I do not display my books. My books all live in their boxes in various places so that the sun doesn't get, and I have a humidity controlled and temperature controlled area for all of my books to make sure that they are kept. I am the caretaker of these books until they are sold because I
You're
can't
right.
take
They're
them with.
very crappy bags that they
Well,
use.
but again, but Jim, my father would say at least they put them in something
Yeah, it does
because
protect them.
they are heavy. They're heavy and they're somewhat murky. Like a lot of Alan's books, he still leaves them in them. That they're murky and you can't, but they are strong and they protect the actual slab itself. And then
Hmm.
once you get them, take them
Then you
out
can
of the
re-sleeve them.
transport bags and put them into either poly or mylar. I recommend mylar. Just go on Amazon and buy them. They're right there. They're not that expensive.
Well, you're gonna love
Okay,
my Portuguese ones.
that's
So
my
okay,
pitch.
Argentinian ones. Okay, so I in the same box I found this, which is Bill Ward. I just love how he drew all the girls. This was just in the same box as
I
my.
have that.
I know you have
I
this.
I have that. I have all of them from number 3 up.
Oh, really? You don't have like one or two?
I didn't wasn't was first made available of the green covered issue number 3.
Oh, okay. So I have a few. I don't have that many, but I have a few. Okay, so now we're going to go into Argentinian Vampirella. This is Vampirella number 2. I have number 1 somewhere, but I don't know where it is. It's not in the same box for some reason.
Jim, I use the Mylars for my slabs,
Actually,
also for
that's kind of cool too.
magazines as well. I do. That's a you're abs it works.
Okay, so
Sorry, Alan.
these ones are slightly different than the American ones. Like you'll notice she has a pink, almost like looks like a pink
What does she have? A
bikini.
pocket watch hanging down from her bikini?
Yeah. So the funny thing is, on the original Vampirella from Warren, this was not Vampirella. This was some other character, but they just
Right.
gave her a swimsuit like to make it look like Vampirella, which I thought
You
was
know,
cute.
when Frazetta did these covers,
Hmm.
he basically the girls all have kind of gossamer simian features,
Yes.
and he also has them very diminutive on top, and they have full womanly thighs. That's how
Yes.
Frazetta
Very.
does.
Oh, yeah, and I got a thumbs up for that. Okay, so that's actually in the back. The back covers are actually quite interesting too.
Who needs pockets adrift when you look like that? You don't need no stinking pockets.
And this is number 3. I need to bag some of these, I
Now
realize.
this one looks similar to a different one, one of the Vampirellas.
Well, this is Vampirella number 3 cover. So a lot of these have the same covers as the American.
And what country is this from?
Argentina.
Argentina. Okay.
Okay, and this one has a creepy back cover. Isn't that
Nice.
Exorcist?
Domingo Negro. Black Sunday.
Oh, Black Sunday. Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, and then another Fazetta cover. So these ones so far
So
are all the same.
that is so totally, completely Frazetta,
Yeah,
looking
very
all
much
of
so.
those elements right there, particularly the female form, and then the
Yep.
monster coming in, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, basically, with the
Yep.
hands kind of drooping down, you know?
And at the time they thought they dragged their tails, so that's why the this is down more on the back of the dinosaur. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they, in fact, the tail was up. They found that
Yeah,
out, like with
later.
brontosaurs too. The tails were up.
Yeah. Now they started changing out the covers. Now these are different from the American editions. So I'll just go through them. I mean, they're pretty cool, some of them. Now I don't know why they gave her a blue suit rather than the typical red Vampirella suit.
Con poster gigante. Is the poster inside, Alan? Can you show us the poster?
Okay, sure. Oh my goodness, some people. Okay, so I'm gonna show. Hopefully, there's a gigantic poster or
David
gigante.
Clark, my God. Throwing shade on Michael Jackson.
Why throwing shade on Michael Jackson?
I swear I thought that was Michael Jackson, Black Sunday.
Oh my goodness. One sec here. Okay, hopefully I can do this right. Okay. Hopefully it still has the poster. Oh yes, it still has the poster. And okay, it's detached, so I can actually pull it out. Let's see what the poster is. It's a gigantic poster of
Gigante.
Frankenstein and the Wolfman.
That is so cool. And by the way, Frankenstein is Bela Lugosi right there. If you look
Yes.
at that, that's Bela
And
Lugosi.
that's Lon Chaney, probably. I think that's Lon Chaney or Lon Chaney Jr.
Lon Chaney Jr., not Lon Chaney. Lon
Yeah.
Chaney never did the Wolfman. Lon Chaney
Yeah,
Jr.
that's why I corrected myself and said Junior.
That is really good. You know, when Lon Chaney Jr. was born, he was they was basically they were out in some winter situation, and he was stillborn.
Oh, really?
And
Wow.
so his father took him outside and he dunked him in frozen water up and down
Oh my goodness.
and then resuscitated him and he came to. And
Wow,
that's how Lon Chaney Jr. came into the world.
that's crazy. But I mean, I guess it worked. Yeah,
That's an incredible poster, Alan.
I mean, it's I think these are pretty cool.
Suitable for framing, really.
Another Vizetta with like a little bit of an addition to it.
In this number, in this issue,
Oh,
the
actually, sorry,
world
that's Orlando Jones. Sorry, I'm mistaken.
in this issue, the world of horror.
Yes, the world of horror. Horror. Okay. And
Isn't
then
it
this,
interesting? Adrift has it. Someone just mentioned, K. Munin said that it's interesting that a universal monster situation would be in a Warren publication.
I know it is kind of strange, but they actually had a lot of advertisements
You
for
didn't.
Universal Monsters.
Who was the guy that was so crazy about all the horror, the monster stuff?
Forrest J. Ackerman.
So, and he's the one that got all of the press photos from the Universal stuff. He bought
He
all
got
of that
all the
stuff,
photos, and he got even got the stills, and
and he
he got
printed
all
them. So
the
he obviously had the rights to do this. Obviously, otherwise he couldn't do it
yeah. This one's
unless
actually
they
an
were public
interesting one.
domain.
So this is a Ken Kelly cover. I think it's actually Ken Kelly's first cover,
Mm,
but they didn't like the way that he did the face, so they had Fazetta do the face. So that's Fazetta face. The rest is Ken Kelly.
very
So,
nice. I like that one.
and this one's interesting too. These are actually the same as the American ones. Slight differences, but not much. Some sacrifice one.
Man Wolf.
Yeah. And then this one's completely different.
Wow.
So
Sad
that's
looking.
Van Helsing in the background there.
That's a sad looking monster. What's up? Lift it up a little bit more. La Maldición.
I don't know what that means.
Mal is not good. I know that.
Yeah, I would say. You can see all that on the back.
I like her face with the sharp eyes.
Oh, this?
Who drew that, I wonder? Who did the in-house ads, Alan?
I'm not sure who did this. I don't know. It almost has a Frazetta look a bit.
Alan, when you say Frazetta, it always sounds like you're saying Fuzzetta.
No,
There's no R.
Frazetta. I know. I say
Frazetta,
Frazetta.
yeah.
I say Frazetta. Oh my goodness.
Say Nelvana.
Nelvana.
Yeah, okay. Nice white panties there. That's
I know.
good.
Isn't that
She
cute?
got the little red tutu on her. That'll
Yeah.
keep. I think the eyes have it on that serpent. Look at the
And then
eyes
there's
on
a
that.
dead guy in the corner here.
Awesome. That is cool.
Yeah. And then we got
Adrift one. Oh, there's Frazetta, big time. That's and again,
this is one of his. He actually did a poster of this and stuff. This was quite a classic cover.
JX says you have a Korean accent.
I have a Korean accent. That's yeah. It's
The Green Plague in this issue. The Green Plague.
yeah.
See the simian features, the sort of simian features on that. See, he's famous for that. The Moon Maiden is the same way.
Yeah.
Crazy, scary stuff.
I have two of these ones.
Wow.
So some fun stuff there. And
she needs to get a different pet.
I know. This is
nice skull. Who did this one?
What?
Who did this cover, Alan?
I don't know. I can't read it. Can you read that?
I cannot.
So I don't know. I'm not sure.
Uh-oh. Lyle.
I know Lyle brought up something. I'm ignoring him though. Yeah. So yeah, so this is I have two of these ones. I have dupes of a lot of these.
Don't worry, Knives. You can watch it on replay. We won't go away, hopefully.
Yeah, you can watch this many times on replay. Make sure you watch all the ads, and it'll help me pay for the collection. Okay, okay, doubles of that one as well. Now these ones are at least unique covers. I don't know. I think they're somewhat interesting. I like the foreign edition ones just because they have these kind of interesting.
Oh, it's culturally and graphically so different. There's a signature down at the bottom by the casket. Nestor.
I'm trying to get it to focus.
Hold still. Aru or Aim? I can't tell.
I don't know. I can't read it. It's just too small for me.
I like the faces. I mean, her face is more opened up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, in other words, it's not quite so.
She looks like she's in shock.
Sharp. And generally, you wouldn't figure she would be in shock.
I know, she should be braver. But some of these are like really different. Like, look at this one. Like, very different art style.
She doesn't have wings either, does she? Or does she?
So she can, like, one of her abilities is she can change into a bat.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So they always kind of show her where she can kind of transition.
These are very, very cool, Alan. I'm glad you're showing these.
Yeah, these don't get out that often. So
wow, you got the Ankylosaurus monsters.
I actually really like this one in terms of covers. I just like the way the girl's drawn.
Very, like very cool. How many of those can there be? That may be the only one.
Not too many. These are.
Someone was asking where you got these too, Alan. Do you have a story about that?
So what happened was back in the day, I was really well known for.
Oh, greetings from Russia. Hello, Manuel Magnus. Hello there.
Hello.
I hope things are going well in Russia.
And yeah,
Big Jim.
So what happened? Like, if you want, I can tell the story. So what happened was I was like sort of well known because I was very aggressive back in, like, this is like in the 90s. Looking for all the foreign ones, looking for getting the complete American collection. And so I'd make contacts with people all over the world, and I would say, oh, like, what do you guys want? And I'll trade whatever I can. And I started making contacts with people like all over the world, where I'd sort of like write letters to them and send emails and stuff like that. And basically, I made friends with a guy in Spain, made friends with some guys in Japan, and made friends with some people in South America. And they were getting me all these books. They were like helping me build my collection. It was the craziest thing. So yeah, I and they're very hard to find. Um, and the crazy thing was, this was back in the early days of eBay, where you would actually have to send like a wire transfer. There was no PayPal. You'd send a wire transfer and then hope that they're gonna give you the books. It was pretty crazy. So, but this is another nice one. This one has like a lot of like the classic horror monsters on it. Like you got the werewolf and Frankenstein
That's Phantom of the Opera.
and Phantom of the Opera, yeah. And it looks like the Mummy, and I'm not sure if that's who that is.
Which
Is
one
that
again?
Godzilla? Not
Show me.
Godzilla. Who is this guy? Is that
That looks King Kong
King
to me.
Kong? King Kongish?
Yeah.
And then Dracula, and yeah, I don't know, it's kind of cool. I'm trying to go through these fast. There's just so many. I figure I might as well show
All
the
right,
full collection.
you're showing. This is great stuff, Alan. We never get to see this stuff.
Yeah, so it's like,
You're the only guy I know that has this. I mean, you
yeah.
got the best. You have the complete collection, all
Uh,
nations, right?
well, not all nations, but I have the complete American edition collection. And then I have like a fairly good, like I would say 90% of the world collection.
Good Lord, that's amazing, man. How
Yeah.
hard is that to do?
Yeah, I mean it's about 8,000 books in total.
8,000 books.
Yeah, something like that. It's like it's a lot of books. It's
You know, you may have a problem.
something like that.
That's
Yeah.
amazing, Alan. So cool.
Uh,
Oh, they
then
got the Pharaoh working down here and skulls.
this is just like the American edition. This one is completely
Well,
fake.
there is a werewolf big time.
Yeah, and then we got these are
Werewolf.
this is
Werewolf.
this is their annual. And then I think we're almost done here.
Hello, Hazu. That is incredible.
Yeah. And then I'll just show you two more. We're almost done. I'm just going through them a little bit quickly.
Oh, that's more fun.
So
They're
this is like
reading it.
Jack Davis, I believe, did the cover.
Yeah. Who's the guy reading? What's his name?
His name is Uncle Creepy.
Uncle Creepy. That's it.
And this is the same as Creepy #1, but it's on Vampirella. And this is the annual. I believe this is like the annual #2, the second annual.
Wow.
And then I'm not sure what country this is. This is a different series. This is from some other country.
Holy smokes. I mean, you've got Vampirella covered pretty good, my friend.
Yeah, so there was a guy that I met online who also collects Vampirella, and he was trying to put the same collection together. Like of all, he was a little bit more aggressive, and we would
And
always be,
you? More
yeah,
aggressive than you?
yeah, we
Is
would
that even
always be battling
possible?
it out. We'd be battling it out. His name was Bubbles or something like that, and his like handle, and we'd
Bubbles?
always be battling it out to see who would win the Vampirellas on eBay way back. And this is like early like 2000s, right? Like
Mm.
early like late 90s, early 2000s, and it was like always we were battling it out. So eventually we became like sort of frenemies because we were like we're both going for the same stuff. We would sort of have to divvy it up a bit, because like for example, like I have all the animated cells like for the when they try to like you know make the Vampirella cartoon.
Yes.
And so he got a few of them, I got a few of them. There was only like a handful altogether. So it was like, you know, It was a bit of a battle between us for those kind of things. Some really
I do
awesome
all,
stuff. Yeah.
I do also remember the early eBay. I started, I think, in 1989. I think I started, and I
Uh,
started buying. I started by buying.
I think I was like 3 or 4 months before you. We checked that before.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I started by collecting the toy guns of my youth. I started by getting Mattel. You know, I have a collection of the six guns and
Hmm.
Thompsons and all that stuff that were available, Winchesters and what have you, that were available when I was a kid,
Hmm.
growing up, because toy guns was a major part of all of the stuff that went on.
Hmm.
Uh, and but then I shifted over into comics with a vengeance. And just like, sending the cashier's checks and all that other good stuff. Thank you, dear.
You're
You
welcome.
want to say hi?
Hi.
Oh, hey, we got a guest appearance here. Wait.
There we are. Here, hold on. So
No, I made you big there.
Hi.
this my
Hello,
bride.
Susie.
I was bringing coffee.
So that's a cameo appearance. She didn't really make a full appearance.
I'm
Thank
enjoying the show.
thank you, dear.
Okay,
Yeah.
so do you
Thank
want
you.
to wrap it up with
Yes,
your
I
with
sure
your?
will. I will
Okay.
indeed. We now shift into Miss Fury, and I
It's like we went from like it's such a dichotomy of stuff we're showing here. But okay.
from the ridiculous to the sublime.
Yes, yes.
Um, Miss Fury is a big favorite of mine. The entire story. If you have a chance to read Miss Fury by June Tarpe Mills, it's a rich story. I'm not going to go under the lemon tree for that. I'm just going to show the covers. Alex Schomburg was involved with many of these covers for layouts, and some he did.
You call your wife Miss Fury.
I I call her Sue. Um, the thing was that Tarpe Mills did not do covers because these are Sunday color funnies that were done. She was very, very early, one of the very, very earliest female heroes, and I think the first female hero by a female artist and author.
Oh
And so
yes, definitely.
she Tarpe Mills, and she has wonderful art. She was a fashion guy. I'm not going to get into the whole thing. We don't have time. But anyway, here's Miss Fury #1,
Oh
and this is
nice.
an Alex Schomburg cover. And you'll notice the various elements of Schomburg. This isn't full blown. This is a timely book, but this reprints the very beginnings of the Miss Fury story. And her tail comes and goes. She'll have a cape that comes and goes. Her legs are long at times. Sometimes she's absolutely wasp waisted like this. Now, Schomburg said, like for the Black Terror, drawing black costumes is very difficult. And he was a perfectionist and meticulous in his art. And so what he did was he would do all these accent marks to bring
Yeah.
out the musculature and everything else. This is, I had to look and had to pay up, looked a long time, and then
I
finally
think
I
you
got.
paid less though than I did for my copy.
Oh,
I
you?
think.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
bet you did. I bet you did. I
I
think you got
remember
yours
that.
like
I
maybe
wasn't gonna.
earlier years
I,
earlier.
but getting a copy of Miss Fury #1 is not an easy thing. The whole run is
Mhm.
not easy to do. It took me
Mhm.
quite a while to put it together, but I in fact did. Here is Miss Fury #2. Oh, and incidentally, this is from summer of 1943. They're quarterly. So there are very few. You only get 4 a year for Miss Fury.
Yeah, that's crazy. But it much more story than a typical comic.
It really is. And again, this is a Schomburg type cover, and the colorist again, he puts the Nazis in orange, but you see, Hook Boy's got ripped right through her thing, her costume.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is she looks like Catwoman at this point. Like the modernish, like the Jim Ballant version
Well,
of
but the
Catwoman.
thing about it, and now you'll notice that she has a tail. I think she has a tail,
No, she
and she
doesn't.
has a. Well, no, look
She
at the
doesn't have a
shadow.
tail.
Is it the rope? Okay, no tail, but she has a cape now, and her
Yeah.
ears are back like she's fighting, like a cat fights. Their ears go
Hmm.
back, so she's fighting, and the guy up there with the hatchet.
Yeah, he's gonna
Just a
chop
great,
the rope.
great
Yeah.
cover, issue 2.
I like that one. Yeah. That's a run that I plan to complete at some point.
Here is issue number 3. And this is Schomburg. Now you'll notice how she's a little bit larger. Hitler is up there in the corner looking out of the window.
Oh, nice. I didn't realize it was a Hitler cover.
Mm-hmm. We got it all here, Alan. We got it all on the Monday special. On the Monday.
Yes, I believe Stephen did read the recent Joy Division ones.
Yes, I have that. I have all the covers.
I read those as well.
Let's see, that was issue number 3. Here is cool. Issue number 4 in a 6-0. Here's Hitler's on the wall again. And I think this is Schomburg, but the faces of the other people, I think it might have been a combination here. But you'll notice the green tint on her uniform. He used green rather to try to bring out the highlights on the edges. He used green with the blue. And Alan has pointed out many times that she's always getting about 3 or 4 guys as she comes in.
Yeah.
Kicking. But this
cool.
This is really
She's very efficient.
Great cover.
Have we ever seen any Russian comics? Not really, tell you the truth.
Here is issue number 5. Now, this is indicated as a Schomburg cover, but I assure you it is not. It is a Schomburg layout because, look, you got the thing coming in from the top down through the floor. Very Schomburg. You've got the bondage, and you have a bunch of guys on all around. Very Schomburg. But the drawings are not Schomburg. Those, if you look at the simian look of the guy with the whip, and the other guys, this is Tarpe Mills taking the Schomburg layout.
Yeah, actually, Crime City is the guy I buy a lot of stuff from. I was actually gonna see if I could buy his Miss Fury number 7. He has a copy of that.
So, and you'll notice and the other thing about Schomburg always would put the script in English, so you knew what they were going on, but over the door it's Japanese.
Oh, really?
So it's just, you can just tell that it isn't
not quite Schomburg.
Yeah, but it's the Schomburg layout. Okay, that's issue number 5. Here is issue number 6 in a 6-5.
Sure, that'd be cool, Manuel. That'd be really nice of you.
That's incredibly nice. I have some Polish comic books from Paul Restorer in Warsaw, or excuse me, Krakow. He sent me some. Here again, you have a Schomburg cover, and this one is Schomburg. But you'll notice again, see the green in her mid torso, and the detail of the jewelry in the bag. And these guys look like Schomburg villains, totally, with a lot of stuff going on in the background. But then you'll notice the punch bowl down in the corner. That's the dead giveaway that Schomburg would give you a punch bowl. A decorated punch bowl, no less.
Yeah.
That is so
those razors and stuff like that. Yeah.
It's all the little touches, and always the staircase going up to somewhere. In other words, there is a architectural hook, and then it looks like the bottom of the floor of the upstairs, the mezzanine there. So, but anyway, so that's number 6. Is this number 7? No, let's see. Was this 7? That was number 6. Oh, look at this. I have 2 of number 6. I forgot I did.
Oh, wow.
And this is a nice
copy. You might have
copy.
to sell one then.
I have an extra copy of 6. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I might have to get rid of one of those copies.
Here is Miss Fury number 7. This is in an 8.5. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen one higher. And this again is a Tarpe Mills, and this is a Tarpe Mills cover.
Wow.
And this is from the fall of 1945.
Very nice.
And so now her cape, still no tail, but her cape is orange, not red. and she's back to the kind of skinny angular, and looks like about a 37 Chevrolet convertible going on here.
Is that still Schomburg?
No, I think this is Tarpe Mills on this. Let's see if it says
Okay.
Schomburg. It does not. It says Tarpe Mills Story and Art.
Okay.
It is a Schomburg layout. And Schomburg may have laid a hand on it, because I think that she looks like she could be she would be Schomburg. It looks like it.
Supposedly Schomburg would throw his own car into like covers.
Well, he was a Buick guy.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't know, maybe that is a Buick. I don't know. It looks like it is a GM for sure. It's not a Ford.
Mm-hmm.
Prow of the ship bow on that. You see the sharp nose?
Yeah.
That's very 1937 looking. So that's issue number 7. Here
Crime
is
City, they weren't all Schomburgs. There was sort of a Tarpe Mills got her hand in it too.
and here is Miss Fury number 8, which I think is the last issue.
Yep, it's last issue.
And this is post-war, but it's Schomburg, because look at, he says, atomic bomb experiments number 3, right there in the filing cabinet.
Well,
Who
just
do you
in
have?
case you didn't know where to find it, right?
In case you didn't know, and this came in, let's see, November, the evening of November 9th, probably 1945 or 46.
Mm-hmm.
But this is post-war, and this is the last issue.
Very nice.
All right, of that, and I will put this to one side. Now, then I also
only
want
8 issues. It's still a hard run to complete though, because each issue goes for crazy money.
it's a tough. If you pay attention, you can, and sometimes someone will have something that they don't really know exactly what they have, and you can get it. I had a Human Torch here that also, and this is a Sun Girl cover. She's cohabiting with the Torch at this time. They're in an apartment. They live in an apartment together. She is his assistant, Sun Girl, and though she's powerful too. And but I want you to know, it says the most amazing story in comics, The Flat of the Land. And
yep, he's Puerto Rican.
Yes, he was 1905, I think. His
Like
father was German, and his mother was a beautiful, exotic gal. And he had quite a few brothers too. Great story. Chroma is the book to buy for that, for the whole story. But it says here that he's from the planet Flatula.
I know.
And his name is B9 or something like that. And he comes and he's flattening them out, and then they get sucked into Flatula, which means that all of the inhabitants of Flatula are flatulents.
Yes.
Bangu.
Bangu. Well, it could have been worse. They could have been like from the Uranus or something like that.
Okay, moving right along. Here is Namora number 1, timely from August of 1948. This is a Ken Bald cover, and he was one of the creators of Namora. And here it is.
That's a nice one.
White pager, and this also came from Lee Polanski. Lee's a really good guy.
Picked up I have the American edition of that, but I almost picked up the Canadian edition as well, because I thought it's such a cool book.
Is it the same cover for the Canadian?
Same cover, just like, Canadian quality, but same cover.
That's sort of an oxymoronic statement, isn't it? Canadian quality.
The quality was pretty bad.
Ken Bald, who was Stan Lee's favorite artist for faces, and physique together, but mostly he said faces. He was his number 1 guy for faces. If you read Cindy and a lot of these other ones, Ken Bald, Rusty, Ken Bald is all over those books, doing a lot of stuff. He did other stuff too. One of the characters that he created was Sun Girl. And here is Sun Girl number 1.
Very cool. I have that right behind me.
And this is from August of 1948. Miss America is the backup story.
So how long ago did you get that?
This?
Yeah.
I bought the set of 3 from can't think of his name. Great guy. He works for Heritage now. It'll come. I can't think of his name.
Oh
That's
my goodness.
terrible.
Oh my goodness. I know who you're talking about though.
Here is issue number 2, October of 48. There are only 3 issues.
Yeah.
Now this technically is still superhero, but it's superhero good girl slash. I mean,
Yeah.
it's good girl because it's Ken Bald, but it's still superhero. But she looks so lovely there.
Oh,
And it's the site.
Was it Bunky Brothers?
No, it wasn't Bunky. It was damn it. Sorry.
I think I know who the guy you're talking about.
He's in Ohio. I know that.
Okay, but I always thought that cover she looks kind of bored, and then all the people are reading the news.
Well, no, she's concerned, and everybody's looking at her picture, and they're not even looking at her. It's the sight gag.
Yeah.
And here is issue number 3, Ken Bald again. This is a really nice copy of this book. It presents far better than the grade.
What's the grade? I can't quite see.
5.0.
5.0, nice.
5.0.
Still a nice grade. Mine's 1/10 of that.
They're hard to find. They're hard to find.
Mine's at
Sun Girl is not easy to find.
I think mine's missing the centerfold or something like that. I have
This one, I will show this one last. No, yeah, I'll show this one last. Okay. This is the last, I believe, the last issue of USA Comics. USA in Timely is a very tough comic. There's 17 of them all told. And they ran through the Golden Age. There's another timely cover, timely title. Here it is. This one I got, I believe, from, I think this wasn't eBay or My Comic Shop. But the war is over now. And so this is from the fall of 1945. So now in this book was Schomburg told the tale about that when the war was over, he had been producing various covers ahead of time to keep up and be ready to keep on schedule to meet the deadlines. But what happened was when the war ended, which was in September of 42, 45, he went back in and he changed the Japanese faces because the Germans were long since done. But the Japanese covers, if with the war over, they didn't want to be untimely, if you will, by having Japanese soldiers still shown as villains when the war was over. So he went in and he changed all the faces. These would have been Japanese soldiers, but they turned them into these medieval goons of some sort. But he had to change all of the faces and what have you, because on account of that the war had ended. But you can tell that this was a war type one because Captain America is screaming just like he was doing on Cap 46. Do you see this? And he actually, very seldom do they show blood on a timely cover, but he's run this guy through.
I know.
And
it
he's
looks like
bleeding out of his back.
Yeah. Wow. Very gruesome.
Isn't that a 6.5? I mean, it's
yeah, that's an awesome book.
Killer book.
I like the Wheel of Death too.
Like you do?
Like Wheel of Death.
Wheel of Death. This one here, I just got this and I bought this on eBay very favorably. And I don't know why, but it presents far better. It's a 3.0. It's USA Comics number 10. And when the Promise collection came in, I tried
to buy a bowel.
I don't want to buy a bowel. One's enough.
Yeah. Okay.
This is Captain America is usually the one featured in USA, and this cover, I will show you, is just dynamite.
Oh yes.
It presents so much better than a 3. I don't know why it's a 3, but I'm the recipient of a lower grade for a better looking book.
Do you know how many issues USA ran?
17.
17. Okay, wow.
This
Very
is 10.
short.
The last one I showed you was the last
The
issue.
last issue. Okay.
Mhm. I'm out of order because this is the
The bigger one, yeah.
when I in 1996 or 7, when I bought the last commissioned artwork by Schomburg, the Red Skull one. um, 2 of the recreations were also being sold by Mr. Jeppy, who owned Overstreet at that time. This was one of them. So there was this one, and I can't remember what the other one was, and then there was my piece.
How many do you have from the USA collection?
I have 2. I've tried to buy, they're always too expensive. There's a really
Yeah.
cool green cover with him running. There's the tractor one I really wanted to go, but those they go for an ungodly amount of money. And I just, this one was reasonable, couple grand. I'm below
Couple
FMV.
grand is
Well,
still
no,
you're
but for this,
I know it's for what
that's
it
the
is.
deal of the
It's cheap.
century.
Yeah. I think we looked it up and it was like supposed to be like maybe 25 or 30
Yeah,
3,000 or
three
something like
grand.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was a best offer, and they took my offer. So I was very
Mhm.
happy. They didn't take my first offer, so I know that I went too deep, and then I inched it up, and they took it. So
So
that's
Stephen does have some original art from the Golden Age. Yeah.
I mean, as
You have
far
the
as,
Schomburg.
well, I have the Schomburg painting actually is not of the Golden Age. It is of
Wait, I
Golden
thought you
Age
had
stuff.
not I'm not talking about that painting. I'm talking about remember he did the stuff for the movies?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I have a piece by Schomburg. I have the recreation of Captain America 29, the firing squad cover. I have that. They call it a recreation, but it isn't. It's actually
I
original.
know it's original, yeah.
He never made a painting of these covers. What he did was it's pen and ink on paper. The color was then added. He was able to then color and create these covers himself in a painting. So I have the painting to Cap 29, and I have his last commissioned work for Schomburg, for Bob Overstreet, and I also have one for when he was working in the movie studios, doing the art for the backgrounds for the serials. See these when they had the multiple episode serials, and he didn't have a. I've shown it here before. That it's him in a top hat, and he didn't have any models, so he modeled it after himself. So it's basically a self portrait of Alex Schomburg from early on in the maybe even pre-war, because he looks
Mhm.
quite young. I'm going to show just a little more, Ellen, and then I'll be done.
Okay.
I always have these in the background, and they're cool enough that I do want to show them because they're big books.
Oh, okay. Well, you're going off topic now.
I'm going a little off, but these were the ones I was showing, and I thought I would just show them because I got them out because they're going to go away.
Okay.
Here's this.
You'll never see them again.
Well, for a while. Anyway. Here is the very first Valkyrie.
Oh yes, that's nice. And a
and her Air Maidens.
4-0. Nice. 4-0. Nice.
Tough book, really, really tough book.
I know. I feel like I gotta upgrade my copy. My slab is all smashed. When I got it, it was all smashed.
We'll get it reholdered.
I know. I gotta get reholdered.
I just got this one from.
Oh yes.
The guy's getting shot to pieces right on the cover. Great colors.
I actually read the story from your post on that one. What a dumb plane design.
Yes.
Just like it's like the.
You mean Birdie?
No, not Birdie. I mean, I'm talking about the Germans' planes. Like it's like an open cockpit thing where it's like basically a big target on them.
This back cover looks very Canadian, suspiciously like a Canadian cover to me.
Yeah, it does.
This doesn't look American to me. This looks Canadian.
Yeah,
it doesn't
like
say it. It doesn't say. It doesn't say Canadian, but yeah,
but it
I think
has that Canadian, definite Canadian style on it.
I mean, that's
it's just really like two colored and very, very minimalistic.
Minimalist.
Yeah.
Space Detective #3 from February of 1952, Avon.
I always like those. Is that
Joe Orlando,
right?
I think. No,
is that Joe Orlando?
Everett Raymond Kinsler.
Oh, Kinsler. Okay, wow. Okay, I was going through my artists that could have done that cover.
It looks like Sinestro on a bad day.
Yes, it does. he's getting right in between the eyes too.
I bought this from Jeff Itkin. Very
Does
high
it
grade
smell
coffee.
like maple syrup, by the way? That was cute. Oh, that's smash the Japs or swat the Japs. Yeah, swat the Japs.
Right during the war. This one came out in June of 42, August of 42. And we were still reeling at Pearl. I just got this one. Again from...
Flash. Yes. That was a big auction win for you. I was thinking, is it going to keep on going? It just, yeah.
Alan and I were talking with one another as we were as it was finishing up. I'm going, do I go any higher? And he says, no, you can't go any higher. And it didn't even reach me, which was very nice. And I ended up, this is a 7.5 on this, which is an impossible. Look at this. The Flash,
when he's swooping down is an awesome cover for me.
Action covers with Hawkman are just Hibbard is no Shelley Moldoff. I mean, that's all there is to it. I like Hibbard's Flash, but he's a little bit too white bread Magoo. I love Flash. You know, I
that's
do.
A Sheldon Moldoff, and they're pretty
Shelley
awesome.
Moldoff. This is also a Shelley cover. No, it isn't.
Oh, yes.
No, it isn't. This is a who does this? This is Shelley Moldoff cover.
Yeah.
This is because All American 16 is the first Green Lantern. Green Lantern. This is number 22.
Okay, so
I think it's the
pretty
second
early
or third
on for Green
Adam.
Lantern.
Yeah, very early. And when he's flying, he shines his ring back at himself to make him fly. It isn't forward; it's shining backward on him. And his character is magical rather than super. And he's a man of mystery at this point. They don't know who he is or what he is. And the paper is, who is he? What does he do? We don't know. He's magic. What can we do? I love the man of mystery for the Green Lantern. And what they've done with this, with Alan Scott, now I don't even want to talk about his bull. I don't agree with it. Here is another Flash that I got earlier, also from very favorably, but it's just a great Moldoff fight cover with his eagle buddy. And you'll notice he signs it Shelley Moldoff. And the last one is a Captain Science, and this one is a robot cover. Is it? It says it's a robot cover. Where's the robot? Oh, they're behind them. They're behind them. The robots coming in behind them.
The robots.
Captain Science number 2.
Yeah.
And this looks very similar to Bruce Gentry. Alan, do you see it? But it's reversed.
Yes, but it's reversed. Yeah, I can see that totally.
Captain Science, and this is from
Captain Science did rip off other titles in terms of the cover, cover swipe.
Oh, absolutely. And on the back, you could get the Lone Ranger's Silver Bullet ballpoint pen set and cowboy belt.
Oh, wow.
I'd love to have that.
I always wanted to have a Silver Bullet. I think they'd be kind of useful.
I actually have one.
See? Yeah. Very cool.
So that is the sum total of all of my timelies and extras and Alan's beautiful Vampirellas. Gosh, thanks everybody for coming.
Yeah, thanks for everyone for hanging out. We went really long today. Almost
but it was good stuff to show. We're going to show. We want to, you guys come here and share your day or Mondays with us. We appreciate it. Monday Night Football and all that. So thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
So yeah, so thanks everyone. We're gonna show some pretty awesome stuff next week, and on Friday we're gonna do some hangout where we're gonna show some cool stuff too. I have some books that are coming, so hopefully some cool stuff as well from me. So yeah, so thanks again everyone.
Thanks everybody. See you later.